Trump's immunity claim draws deep skepticism from judges. With Donald Trump listening intently in the courtroom, federal appeals court judges in Washington expressed deep skepticism Tuesday that the former president was immune from prosecution on charges that he plotted to overturn the results of the 2020 election. The panel of 3 judges, 2 of whom were appointed by President Joe Biden, also questioned whether they had jurisdiction to consider the appeal at this point in the case, raising the prospect that Trump's appeal could be dismissed. During lengthy arguments, the judges repeatedly pressed Trump's lawyer to defend claims that Trump was shielded from criminal charges for acts that he says fell within his official duties as president. That argument was rejected last month by the lower court judge overseeing the case against Trump, and the appeals judges suggested through their questions that they too were dubious that the founding fathers envisioned absolute immunity for presidents after they leave office. The outcome could carry enormous ramifications both for the landmark criminal case against Trump and for the broader and legally untested question of whether an ex-president can be prosecuted for actions taken in the White House. It will also likely set the stage for further appeals before the U.S. Supreme Court, which last month declined a request to weigh in but could still get involved later. A swift decision is crucial for special counsel Jack Smith and his team, who are eager to get the case, now paused pending the appeal, to trial before the November election. But Trump's lawyers, in addition to seeking to get the case dismissed, are hoping to benefit from a protracted appeals process that could delay the trial well past its scheduled March 4th start date, including until potentially after the election. Underscoring the importance to both sides, Trump, the 2024 Republican presidential primary frontrunner, attended Tuesday's arguments even though the Iowa caucuses are just 1 week away, and despite the fact that there's no requirement that defendants appear in person for such proceedings. After the hearing, Trump spoke to reporters at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, which used to be the Trump International Hotel, calling Tuesday a very momentous day. He insisted he did nothing wrong and claimed he was being prosecuted for political reasons. Former presidents enjoy broad immunity from lawsuits for actions taken as part of their official White House duties. But because no former president before Trump has ever been indicted, courts have never before addressed whether that protection extends to criminal prosecution. Trump's lawyers insist that it does, arguing that courts have no authority to scrutinize a president's official acts and that the prosecution of their client represents a dramatic departure from more than 2 centuries of American history that would open the door to future politically motivated cases. To authorize the prosecution of a president for official acts would open a Pandora's box from which this nation may never recover, said D. John Sauer, a lawyer for Trump, asserting that under the government's theory, presidents could be prosecuted for giving Congress false information to enter war or for authorizing drone strikes targeting U.S. citizens abroad. But the judges were skeptical about those arguments. Judges Henderson and Florence Pan noted the lawyer who represented Trump during his impeachment trial suggested that he could later face criminal prosecution, telling senators at the time, "We have a judicial process in this country. We have an investigative process in this country to which no former office holder is immune." Aside from the merits of the arguments, the judges jumped right into questioning Trump's lawyer over whether the court has jurisdiction to hear the appeal at this time. Sauer said presidential immunity is clearly a claim that is meant to be reviewed before trial. Smith's team also said that it wants the court to decide the appeal now. Smith's team maintains that presidents are not entitled to absolute immunity and that, in any event, the acts Trump is alleged in the indictment to have taken, including scheming to enlist fake electors in battleground states won by Biden and pressing his vice president Mike Pence to reject the counting of electoral votes on January 6, 2021, fall far outside a president's official job duties. When Judge Henderson asked how the court could write its opinion in a way that wouldn't open the floodgates of investigations against ex-presidents, prosecutor James Pierce said he did not anticipate a sea change of vindictive tit-for-tat prosecutions in the future. He called the allegations against Trump fundamentally unprecedented. U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan rejected the immunity arguments, ruling on decree 1 that the office of the presidency does not confer a get-out-of-jail-free pass. Trump's lawyers appealed that decision, but Smith's team, determined to keep the case on schedule, sought to leapfrog the appeals court by asking the Supreme Court to fast-track the immunity question. The justices declined to get involved. The appeal is vital to a Trump strategy of trying to postpone the case until after the November election. when a victory could empower him to order the Justice Department to abandon the prosecution, or even to seek a pardon for himself. He faces 3 other criminal cases in state and federal court, though the Washington case is scheduled for trial first.